Guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be another video in the Dusty Ultimate Adventure OBS project. I know a lot of the OBS guys are eager to watch Dusty videos, so sorry it's been a minute. This is the next iteration in the saga of building this truck. Today I'm going to be installing the Desolate Motorsports, basically a half cage. They make this particular cage for the OBS Bronco. You can get it in two different ways. Fully assembled like this, so if you order it from Desolate, they will pre-weld it for you, send it to you on a pallet, raw steel, looks just like this. I had this one powder coated to match Dusty, or close to it. Or you can order it just raw parts and have it welded, or you can weld it together yourself. To save time, I opted to go for the pre-welded one so I can just bolt it in. It's 4 bolts, it drops it in. Now, let me talk about why you would want to do a cage on the Broncos specifically. So on these old OBS trucks, there's basically 10 body mounts, 4 behind the core support, and then obviously the core support. So the only structural part of the Bronco that I guess adds rigidity is right behind the front door. So the cabs have a tendency to crack up top because, like most vehicles, there's an A pillar, a B pillar, C pillar, and so on. So on the OBS Broncos, they don't have that. The only structural rigidity that the back of the truck has is through the fiberglass top, which, if you're familiar with fiberglass, it's not the most rigid, it's not metal. So what this is going to do is it's going to tie into the rearmost body mounts and then the body mounts that sit in the second row foot area. So obviously in the event of an accident, there's more protection for you and your occupants, but also it helps add rigidity throughout the cab and the frame as far as twisting goes. So if you don't have a cracked cab, and I'll show you that here in a minute, this will help prevent that and obviously make the truck a little bit safer. Or if you're maybe looking to go full cage, you got a half cage here, you could tie into this down the line later on and have a full cage into your cab. So pretty quick install it should be. I got to pull off the factory top. I've already got the bolts for the body mounts out. We'll basically drop this in its place and set 2 bolts in, bolt it back together, and we should be ready to rock. So let's go ahead and get to tearing this thing apart, drop this in, I'll show you what it looks like after it's installed the truck. Okay, so like I was saying, when these Broncos, the only structural rigidity between left to right is right here, which is, you know, A pillar, B pillar, or, you know, windshield, however you want to call these things. You know, there's this and that. It's the only 2 structural points that keep the body from twisting. Obviously the fiberglass top sits back here and bolts in, but if you've ever taken these things off, if you're an OBS guy, you know, they're a little floppy, right? So all of those dynamic vibrations and twist is transferred through the frame into the body, and it goes across right here, which is why a lot of these OBS Broncos are cracked right here. So adding the cage inside the bed of the truck is going to strengthen and make the whole body a lot more rigid, as if it was a fully closed in, you know, platform, which is why all modern vehicles have a cage, like the Broncos, Jeeps. Anyway, long story short, just kind of showing you guys that if you have a Bronco that's not cracked, you got a good one. So maybe do a cage to prevent it from cracking, obviously, and add a little bit of safety. So anyway, let's go and get this top off, get the cage in, show what it looks like afterwards. If your Bronco still has all the factory pins, be very careful with them because they're 30 years old. You don't want to crack those. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling these pins off, get the trim out, unbolt it, walk the top off, walk the cage in, bolt it all back together. Okay, top is ready to come off. To be honest with you guys, this is probably the last time I'll take this top off. It's been off twice, once when I reconditioned it. If you're taking your top off to do this, it's probably a good opportunity to go ahead and replace all of your seals, because most likely they're shot. I've already done all that. Every single seal for the top has been replaced, so I don't need to do that. But yeah, this will be the last time I take it off after I put the cage in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and have a cameraman help me take this top off because it's big. Ready to grab it? Good job, cameraman, help me. Now we gotta carry the cage over there. and drop it in. Before we do that, I'm going to kind of show you the floor of the truck so you have an idea where to go. Man, are you winded? I'm winded too.
No, bro.
Whatever.
That's a warm up.
Whatever, bro. So, now that we have all that out of the way, I'm probably going to go ahead and pull the seat out. I'm going to probably take the spare tire mount out just to have a little bit more clearance to drop this thing in. And then I'll have to cut 2 holes where these 2 bolts are, like that, because the very back of the cage sits over top of the carpet and then the bolts drop all the way through. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the spare tire mount out, pull the seat out, and then we will slide the cage in and bolt it in. Up in the second row on the floor, the lower part, it's the same concept. A main crossbar goes over the floor, bolts strap through the cage, into the floor, bolted in, ready to go. So basically, if you look how the body mounts for the cab, the structural part of that mount is down below. So if you just put that bar up top, it's going to cave that floor in. So the factory spacer I'm going to leave in there, and then this will sit up top. Now it's flush, so when the cage sits on top of this, now there's something for it to compress against. That's how that works, so you guys know. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of how it feels inside the back. I am 5'11", 6 foot, depending on my boots. But you can get an idea. Full-size adult, you know, it is tight. If you had a helmet on, it would it definitely would hit here. If you're on the side, there's more clearance. If you had a helmet on, obviously, if no helmet, you're fine. You know, obviously, there is 3 seat belts in the back of this seat. 2 full-size adults. I'm gonna have my daughter right here in the car seat, so this is gonna be plenty fine. But just wanted to give you guys an idea of how this feels and looks inside the cab of the Bronco. Down below, you know, my feet are resting on the main crossbar across. Not too big of a deal. If you're behind one of the seats, your heels are gonna be on it. No matter how you look at it, or sitting here, your feet are gonna be on that bar. Again, I don't think it's too big of a deal. But yeah, also the cup holder in the sides, do not have access to those anymore. Just give you guys peace of mind, or I guess letting you guys know. The ashtray, you know, I don't use those things anyway, but for whatever reason, if you guys want another information, cup holder and the ashtray in the factory panels on the Bronco no longer can have access to those. The side pockets storage, those you still have access to. They open up perfectly underneath the cage here. So, and then of course the seat belts are totally usable as if they were factory. And then I don't have them bolted in yet, but the lap belts will work like they would factory too. I think it's actually a better position because now I'm mounting the seat belt to the frame and not to the fiberglass top. So in my opinion, that's obviously steel is way stronger than fiberglass. Yeah, so looks great. I'm so glad I went with the color match cage versus black. I think it just, I don't know, kind of snazzes the inside of the cab up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this video. You know, if you've been following along on the Dusty Ultimate Adventure OBS build, I want to thank you guys for sticking around. We're nearing the end of this project. So we just did the cage today. We got the top back on, all buttoned back up. I think it looks super cool inside. Obviously, it looks cool, and it's got its form and function that goes along with the cage as well. Again, shout out to Desolate Motorsports. If you want to get one of these for yourself, link will be in the description. You can get it welded, or you can weld it yourself, put it in your trucks. Overall, it's a pretty simple, easy install. It's 4 bolts that bolted in. Again, just a little reminder. Definitely do this in your garage or your driveway by yourself, or have somebody, my camera guy, help me muscle things around. But it's a simple project, basically. Yeah, so thank you guys again for watching. If you have any comments about what we've done so far, let me know. We have, like I said, long travel coming up. I've got some interior stuff going in here as well. The Desolate full console. We got Desolate mirrors. And we're nearing the end. So, like I said, stick around. A couple more videos coming on this truck. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks so much for watching.